SI93 Boxing, back with another video. This is my thoughts about the Danny Garcia situation. Oh, by the way, this is not planned properly. I haven't planned this video properly. It will be unedited, off the top, whatever I feel like saying. So yeah, this is about Danny Garcia. Andre Porter has come out saying that Danny Garcia is trying to avoid him and trying to go for John Molina. And keep in mind, Danny Garcia has fought Paulie Malignaggi and Robert Guerrero. He has been a champion at 140. Still a champion. He's currently a champion, a WBC champion. And for him to avoid Andre Porter, you have to really look at what is really happening. Is it that Danny Garcia is avoiding him, or is it that Andre Porter is pricing himself out? Personally, I don't really know. My take on this whole situation is this is not the first time that Danny Garcia has been called a cherry picker. So, if we look at his whole career, I just want to give my take on whether he's a cherry picker or not. You could say he's a bit of a cherry picker because right after Herrera, he fought Rod Salka, and Herrera is supposed to be a little bit of a cherry pick, to be honest. Rod Salka is someone who's not even at the weight division. He's actually below, I believe, maybe one division below or two, and it was at a catch weight above 140. So Rod Salka came from like 155 or something like that. If we look at that fight was an obvious cherry pick because Rod Salka did not have pretty much any advantages apart from maybe speed or at least footwork and boxing ability. There was rumors about Danny Garcia and Rod Salka in the amateurs, where a lot of people feel that Rod Salka got robbed, or maybe I just heard it somewhere and I thought that's true. Maybe they're lying. I don't know. Danny Garcia has went up to fight Paulie Malignaggi, and he had a title fight between himself and Robert Guerrero, which was interesting because Khan was the mandatory, but that could be because Khan wasn't doing shit back then. I think he was waiting on Floyd Pacquiao and then missed out the shot. Then he fought Canelo. But anyway, back to Garcia. When you look at things like he fought Rod Salka, he kind of cherry-picked Herrera. At 147, he is not really picking the best oppositions. If he's actually trying to fight John Molina, that is. Because he's fought Paulie Malignaggi is kind of his first fight. It was viewed as a cherry pick because Paulie Malignaggi is way past his prime. He's more of a commentator. He didn't really train properly for that fight. Even if he did, he get stopped. Yeah, I think Robert Guerrero I'm not gonna say it's a bit of a cherry. I'm not gonna say it's a cherry pick because Guerrero, yeah, he did hold titles. He's a good fighter. He's not a bad fighter. He's very overrated, but still a good fighter regardless. But when he had the title, now he's a WBC champion. People have a higher expectation of him, right? In a division that's stacked, Shawn Porter, Keith Thurman. I mean, there's plenty. Errol Spence. When you have people like that in your division, you are expected to fight them because you are the champion, the WBC champion at that weight division. And if you're not fighting them, it will be viewed as a little bit of a dark, in the sense that you're avoiding the tough competition. But I think a lot of it is business move, and put it this way, I don't think Danny Garcia is scared of anyone himself. Because he has fought top level oppositions. Look at him, he fought Morales twice. You could say Eric Morales was way past his prime, but Garcia was not, like, he didn't even reach his prime. Eric Morales was over the hill. Garcia was like, he didn't even reach the hill. He's yet to reach his hill. So he fought him twice. He knocked him out one of them. He knocked out Khan. He beat Mathysse. Like the Herrera fight, he did land more than twice the amount of power shots, I believe. He landed a lot of power shots. So I guess you could give him the win, but a lot of people will disagree with that. But it was a close fight. Peterson, similar story. in the sense that it was a close fight. Then he fought Paulie Malignaggi, which was viewed as a cherry pick because he's moving up the weight division, as I said, past his prime. And then he fought Robert Guerrero. Now, when you look at that list, there's a whole bunch of good oppositions. And this is why I don't like saying Danny Garcia is scared of other fighters. He fought, look how many champions / former world champions he's fought. You look at his resume and you pit it up against some fighters at 140, 147, or anyone in boxing. His resume is way better than average. His resume is better than Keith Thurman's, Shawn Porter's, Errol Spence, Kell Brooks. Well, yeah, it is. Not Tim Bradley, or I mean, in terms of he hasn't fought as good level oppositions as Tim Bradley has, I would say, but he beat better oppositions in my opinion overall than Tim Bradley. Yeah, Bradley has a win over Marquez, but that's the only win he has. That's like considered really high. Other than that, he has good wins. He has a lot of good wins. I don't like to consider the first Pacquiao fight as a win. So Danny Garcia has fought good oppositions. I don't think he's scared of fighters, and I highly rate him. I think he beat Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter, but that's another video. However, like, look at his father. The way he says, "Oh, why is Keith Thurman fighting Shawn Porter when they can fight Salka," or he calls it Saka, and make millions? And he wants people to make most amount of money before they get together, which I understand, but I don't know, man. And plus, you keep in mind that against, like, when he fought Morales, then he came back and fought Amir Khan, and he beat Amir Khan in a fight that Khan was really beating him. Not saying that Garcia was not in the fight, because he was landing a few shots here and there, and yeah, Khan got caught with that shot. Garcia timed it well, luck or time, whatever. That's a different topic. He beat Khan. Danny Garcia was questioned in the post-fight press conference whether he would give Khan a rematch, and Garcia was like, he gave me an opportunity to prove myself. I'll give him an opportunity as well. And then Angel Garcia cut him off and says, "Well, give him a rematch for what? We beat him. His old story," or something like that, something of that sort. But then he contradicts himself by going to fight Morales again in a rematch. This is why I personally think Angel Garcia is reluctant to face certain fighters. Amir Khan is one of them. I think Angel Garcia might be the one that might encourage Danny Garcia to cherry pick, which is kind of understandable, because in the fight in the Amir Khan fight, Angel Garcia was panicking because Garcia was getting beat up, and still to this day, he doesn't want a Khan rematch. But you had the Eric Morales rematch, right? You scared to fight Khan point blank period. Danny Garcia is not, but Angel Garcia is scared to fight Amir Khan point blank period. He made it clear that he don't want Garcia to rematch Khan. Fuck it, man. He's scared. He's scared. But at the same time, even though I think his team has somewhat cherry picked, he has a good resume, and I think that when people go out to put cherries on his Twitter and things like that. I don't really follow like social media all that much. I don't even know how Instagram even works. But anyway, when he goes out to put all these cherries, when people go out to put all these cherries on his Twitter account, it's a bit unfair, I think, because he has fought loads of oppositions. How does he end up with so many cherries and not Kell Brook and not Keith Thurman and not Shawn Porter? Like, how? What about Golovkin? I mean, even if you actually forget all the other divisions near about there. What about people? What about I don't know, man. But he fought great oppositions. So I think he does cherry pick, but people give him a too hard time for cherry picking, knowing that his resume is better than a lot of other people's resume. But I do think Garcia is scared of Khan, like Team Garcia overall, his father particularly, and doesn't want him to get a rematch because it's too much work. And I think he knows his son can lose. If Garcia doesn't fight Andre Berto or any notable people, I think that could be that could be because of business reasons. One of my friends told me that it could be because if he beats Andre Berta will be able to pass on some of the things about Garcia that he learned from the ring, that he learned in the ring being with Garcia, and he will pass it on to Virgil and Khan because they're all on the same camp. But then again, Khan's been with Garcia before. That was my argument. But I don't know, man. I think Garcia's... So, to wrap the video up, I think Garcia has cherry-picked a bit. I think Angel Garcia is scared to put Garcia in against some oppositions, particularly Amir Khan. Even though he does cherry-pick, I personally think he's not scared of many fighters, and he has a good resume. And because of that, I think people give him a hard time for cherry-picking. I think it's because they want to see him lose and whatnot. But yeah, I actually want to see him fight soon. We don't know who's going to fight. So tell me, comment on the video to give your opinion on who he should fight next. I'm out.